What's up, guys? Welcome to the announced series of videos. You might be asking what the series is gonna be called. Well, they're gonna be called Fundamentals of Aiming. Now you might ask me, Mickey, but why Fundamentals of Aiming? We came here for the, high-end stuff. Well, if you wanna be the king, first you're gonna have to walk on a path of peasant. In other words, for the people with subhuman IQ temperature that mean aim trainers, well, in order to achieve high-level stuff, first you need to master the fucking basics. And a lot of people wanna, skip them. So, let me just explain. Crosshair placement is basically you making sure your crosshair is always on a position where the enemy is. Fucking wrong! It's not! So, I don't know why the fuck I'm smiling so much. I don't know. I kinda feel fucking good today. So, why is it wrong, you might ask me? Well, where do I fucking start? Okay, first thing. Aim, shoot, and it's supposed to be, it's literally how it should be for everybody. It should be a reactive thing, not predictive. You should be real-time reacting what's happening on your screen, not predicting. Now, you might be predicting what's gonna happen on the screen, but you still react upon a change, not before it actually happens. Let's just separate two different things. There is crosshair placement, and there is crosshair positioning. Crosshair positioning is like a random term I came up with in order to separate one from another. Crosshair placement is when you're standing still and waiting for the enemy to pick. Well, crosshair placement is when you're the one moving around the map and initiating the pick for the kill. Let's say that you have one ideology how you should be placing the crosshair. It can't be applied on the both situations because of different nature, right? But anyways, let's get back to the topic of crosshair placement. Let me give you an example which is gonna debunk always on the head level thing. Let's say it's 2014. You're playing the good old Battlefield 4 and the good old, our favorite, lockers. So you hear the enemy, crosshair goes here, and you're dead. So, what did this example show us? It showed us that it's a specific game and there is no such picking in other games.
Hammered by utility, has to keep giving up these up.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we see how there is no such thing as in other games. Basically, the ideology of keeping the crosshair on a head level is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, when you think about it, it's much better keeping it on a head level than looking at the ground, as a lot of people do. But the issue is that ideology came in early days of CS, right? And for CS in particular, it's basically right. I mean, it's true. You should keep it on a head level. Why? Because the game is slow, the game is linear, the entire aiming is happening on a horizontal axis most of the time. So, more or less, you're just best off keeping it head level and that's it. You have much higher chances of getting the kills. There is also a thing that a lot of older CS players don't really have the highest mechanical skill, so they're using the crosshair placement to rely on a quick timing and not actual flick or tracking or whatever. I said it, nobody else wanted to say it, Hate me if you want. The issue with placing the crosshair on a head level is that you're assuming that you know exactly how the player is gonna pick, where he's gonna pick, what movement technique he's gonna use. Maybe slide canceling, maybe jump picking, maybe jump, crouch, slide, picking, crouch, sliding, animation, cutting, blah, whatever. You assume you know exactly where his player model is gonna stop after initial pick. Let's say this is the wall, he might be here, might be here, might be here. You're assuming all of that. So you're basically predicting instead of reacting what's happening on your screen. The issue is that the old school way of crosshair placements is basically making you rely on click timing and minimizing the necessary movement with your mouse after the enemy shows up on the screen, which again, not necessarily bad, but not optimal. What crosshair placement should be is making sure your follow-up movement with the mouse is perfectly executable every single time. So you can consistently execute the follow-up movement. Now, that follow-up movement might be just a click timing or a slight micro adjustment to get on the head, while it also might be a full-on fucking tracking or a flick in totally another direction. So, in order to figure out what an optimal crosshair position should be, or a placement where to put it, however you're gonna say it, is first you need to understand what other things hide in the fundamentals of aiming. So here it is. They're not in any particular hierarchical, chronological, numberal, blah blah blah, whatever other term exists in English order. They're not. It's just what hides behind aim, in my opinion. So you need to figure out what game you're playing. Now, when you picked what game you're playing, right? Now you need to figure out what type of gameplay this game has. Is the game fast, slow? Does the game contain any specific movement techniques? Is the game, super fast paces, so you have a lot of crouch sliding, jump picking and stuff like that? And you figure that out. You now need to figure out the rank you're playing in, because the silver player isn't gonna play the same as the diamond player, let's say. They're gonna move totally differently, and they're also gonna pick totally differently, and they're gonna react totally differently, So beside that, you need to figure out the repeating patterns in the game. There is let's say a meta in the game where for one period of time, you're gonna have people playing a certain way. Just like they play the specific weapons during, let's say, this season in the game, they might also be peaking the same way. They might nerf the movement or buff the movement, so therefore the movement is gonna change. Based on that, you need to adapt. So, you need to figure out the repeating patterns in the game. Now you need to figure out the gun you're playing. Does the gun you're playing, is it the one-shot headshot? Is it the 85 in the head and 15 in the neck? So it's maybe a two-shot kill. Does the gun you're playing have a complicated recoil? Is it randomized? Does it have spread? Is it actually like laser beam? Does the game you're playing have a proper, right? Does it actually have a beneficial and profitable asset multiplier? Maybe sometimes you're just better off going for guaranteed shots in the body rather than risking a shot in the head, Beside that, you also need to figure out, how is the accuracy in the game when you're moving? Some people might just slide pick you, as they call Ferrari pick in CSGO. They might just slide over your screen, shoot you while they're moving. Sometimes they need to stop. You need to figure that out. So as I said, there are a lot of things that go into equation. Now again, the ideology that somebody said 15, 20 years ago, I don't fucking know. It's not necessarily bad, but it became old. Things change, the way people change, the way people play change, the average skill in the games change. I mean, just look at it. 10 years ago, we used to play on 60 Hz screens. 144 Hz was a fucking premium for most of us, didn't exist on most markets, So when you think about it, today's kids gonna be playing much better than we did as the kids. And it's just how it is. Therefore, things that we learned 10 or 15 years ago, it cannot be fully transferred to what we have now. They need to be adapted, And then there's also a topic, as I mentioned, a reactive and predictive aim, right? So think about it this way. Aim should be reactive, as I said. You shouldn't be predicting what's going on your screen. You should be maybe predicting a situation, but reacting upon a change. So there is an idea, or let's say a philosophy, if I can say it like that, why 60 and 75 Hz players developed predictive aim, while 144, 240, 360 Hz players developed reactive aim. And why I can't really say seasoned players or veteran players, because I'm 23 years old, and it's kinda cringe to say I'm a veteran in FPS gaming, because I can't really use the experience I have as an 80-year-old, right? What did I know back then? Nothing. The experience I have back then cannot really transfer to anything right now. But let's just say that things we grew up playing with forced us to adapt different type of mechanics and different styles of gameplay. We used to be predicting what's going on in the screen because we were limited to what we can do real time. While today, we need to change and we need to adapt and we need to transfer to reactive aiming. So, here are gonna be few examples on how would I approach the situation in the game. Let's say I have zero knowledge about the game, and let's say we have to build up the knowledge. How would I Crosshair plays in these situations? So, let's move on to that. So, scenario 1. You're playing CSGO. You're a mid player on city side, playing window with top. Based on the current state of the match, you know that the enemy doesn't have money for op, and that this round they're either going eco or forcing some SMGs. Based on this info, you know two things. If enemy picks your mid, it will be Deagle, so therefore he will either Deagle pick in order to gather info where you are, or confidently white pick. I'm playing on 360 Hz and 400 FPS, so input lag is not really in question. Only thing that I would look into this is how good my reaction time is today. Do I feel confident reacting to his wiggle pick? Did I sleep well last night? Maybe I'm under some stress? Who knows? If yes, then I would place the crosshair on stomach height, since OP is one-shot body shot. If I'm not feeling confident about my reaction time today, I would place crosshair somewhere further to the right, and a bit higher to about chest height. But why now increasing the height of the crosshair? Because if he decides to wide peek me with Deagle, there are two options. He is retarded, or he is a bit less retarded and wants to use a jump into his advantage to trick me into hitting his legs, which are not one-shot kill in CS. Chances of me losing this duel on mid are slim, but it's there. Again, this is CSGO, majority of players aim here is dog water or so whatever. On top of that, Deagle doesn't have an accurate first shot, so yeah, you do get kills against OP on mid with Deagle, but doesn't happen that often. So what I'm trying to do here is maximize my chances of killing him with first shot.
Nice.
Let's use CSGO as the example once again. You're a city player playing A with M4. To be more specific, you're playing Connector. Your mid player died to a Deagle I mentioned earlier, and due to his tilt, he's swearing his native language, most of the time either Russian or Turkish, and prevents you from hearing footsteps. You know they're going for a mid push now, and only info you can gather now is info about your mid player's native language and nationality. You have no fucking clue what gun you're gonna go against. Might be Deagle, might be Mac 10, or the fucking retard might have gone for a forced AK. You also don't know if they are going to pick mid, or pick on a catwalk to short. You also have zero fucking clue if they are playing smart or rushing hard, because last 3 pushes were on B. Placing crosshair on any specific angle will be gambling due to zero info you have. And as I said, I'm playing on a 360 Hz, high FPS, and let's say today I'm feeling confident in my reaction time. So what I would do is I would put my crosshair here. Why there, you might ask? Because it gives me an equal chance of hitting a flick to either top right or bottom right. And it gives me an easy time adjusting the crosshair on enemy if he decides to wide peek me and allow me to be ready to catch a second person peeking while the enemy is catching my attention, maybe he's wiggle picking, blah blah blah. Basically, it allows me to be consistent on both my flick to the up or a flick to the bottom. So, thank you for watching the video until the end. To sum it up, don't listen to what somebody said 10 or 15 years ago about improving your aim. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to share some of my knowledge, experience, or let's just say overall perspective on aiming, on things that helped me improve myself. So even listening to me, don't just take everything word to word, you know? Have a bit of grain of salt. That's how you say it, right? So I'm gonna continue making these type of videos. And unfortunately, I can't really go super deep into topics, because if I did, that would take literally 2+ hours of content for each topic, and that's just too much for you guys to watch, too much for me to record and edit, so I just keep it this way for now. And you guys let me know in comments what you think about these videos. Do you enjoy them? Do you think they should be longer, less in detail, more in detail? You know, do your thing, let me know what you think. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that sub button, like, share, subscribe,